Presentation of Scoreboard Show. Smoky Hills Public Television is brought to you in part by an underwriting grant
from Nextech, providing the region with clear quality phone service, fast reliable internet, advanced TV service, and business technology solutions. Nextech proudly supports public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
Simpson Farm Enterprises of Ransom, Hayes, Great Bend, and Beloit, your local Apache dealer.
Delivering quality solutions is more than a slogan. It's a commitment that Frontier Ag has made to their customers on the High Plains. Frontier Ag knows the challenges you face each day, and they are working by your side, delivering quality solutions. After all, we're owned by the people we serve and proud to be your hometown choice.
Welcome to the award-winning Scoreboard Show with the fastest 5 minutes in high school football. I'm your host, Larry Calvary. Sometimes the games are more than a weekly game, or a league game, or a district game. Sometimes they've become a rivalry game with just pride on the line. This time it is both a rivalry game and a league game in the Western Athletic Conference. The Hayes High Indians, under their first-year coach Randall Rath, hosted the Great Bend Panthers, coached by second-year Tony Crow. The Panthers entered tonight's contest with a win over Leavenworth, whom they had to battle back to get a 2-point win, while Hayes High Indians had a rough week the first week, falling to Olathe Northwest. Tonight, the Hayes High Indians look to get their first win of the season over the Panthers, but they could just not get the job done as they fall to the Great Bend Panthers. The Panthers host the Garden City Buffaloes next week. Our next game of the week is the St. John's Tipton Blue Jays traveling to Osborne to take on the Bulldogs in this Northern Plains League contest. Both teams got a win last week. The Osborne Bulldogs, under first-year head coach John Scarborough, brought their game last week to an end with a 52-6 win over the Thunder Ridge Longhorns, while the St. John's Tipton Blue Jays, led by their quarterback Davis Dubert, defeated the Hill City Ringnecks. Last year, the Bulldogs defeated the Blue Jays by 20 points. This year, in Week 2, it would come down to one team putting a blemish on the other team's record. This week, though, the Blue Jays put last year's loss behind them as they were able to wear out the Bulldogs to get the win. Next week, the Blue Jays will host the Warriors from Southern Cloud.
We have teamed up with KTV to bring you the game of the week. This week, we take a look at the Garden City Buffaloes as the herd headed to Maize to take on the Eagles. The Maize Eagles had a tough time last week as they fell to the 6A number 3 ranked team in the Derby Panthers. Garden City, on the other hand, hosted the Olathe East Hawks. The Buffaloes came out victorious with a 28-14 win. This week, the Garden City Buffaloes were able to bring down the Eagles from Maize and get the win. They head home to host the Western Athletic Conference opponent in the Great Bend Panthers.
With a little over 30 minutes apart between the towns, a rivalry consists between the Phillipsburg Panthers and the Norton Blue Jays. Both teams are in the Mid-Continent League and had wins last week. Looking at last year, the Blue Jays were able to defeat the Panthers, but they would be able to get the job done this year. Last week, the Phillipsburg Panthers blanked the TMP Monarchs 35-0, while the Norton Blue Jays defeated Ellis 54-12. This week, though, would be the real test for both teams as the Norton Blue Jays made the trip to Phillipsburg. The Norton Blue Jays were able to fly into Phillipsburg and get the win again this year by defeating the Phillipsburg Panthers. The Norton Blue Jays head home with 2 wins on the season and prepare for the Oakley Plainsmen next week. Now here are some scores from around central and western Kansas of tonight's games. If you do not see the score you're looking for, be sure to visit our site at scoreboardshow.tv. You will also find last week's show, the extended highlights from this week's and last week's games. While you're on the site, be sure to check out our sponsors of the show, and if you see them on the street, tell them thank you for sponsoring the Scoreboard Show this year, because without them, none of this would be possible. Now you might be wondering how you find out where our cameras will be next week. It is simple. Just follow us on Twitter at Scoreboard Show. If we are coming to your game, go right ahead and retweet it to let everyone know that we are heading your direction, and then tune in next week to see the highlights and see if you make it on the show. That's our show for this week. Be sure and tune in next week to the Scoreboard Show on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Presentation of Scoreboard Show. Smoky Hills Public Television is brought to you in part by an underwriting grant
from Nextech, providing the region with clear quality phone service, fast reliable internet, advanced TV service, and business technology solutions. Nextech proudly supports public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference, the best small 4-year college football in Kansas. Information about the KCAC is available at kcacsports.com. Also on Facebook and Twitter at KCAC Sports.